Let's get going. Hello, everyone. I am Erica Kessie. I am one of the directors of Startup Grind. I also am an entrepreneur myself. I am the founder of Your Goal Concierge. We specifically work with women leaders and corporations in bringing them from where they are, disgruntled, from feeling stuck to escape into the life that they really want to have for themselves, associated with their visions, their values, and their mission. And so, if you're out there, if you're a corporation and you need these services, please reach out to me. Yes, and I have a wonderful, amazing co-director, Tiara, who is now going to introduce herself.
Absolutely. My name is Tiara Briscoe. I am the owner of T Briscoe Consulting, where we provide bookkeeping, and consulting services. I am also the treasurer for the Nashville Business Incubation Center on the junior board. I am also the co-director for the Nashville chapter of Startup Grind. I am a CPA and I am the co-host for this panelist discussion tonight.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, so we're going to get into each panelist, and we would like for you to give an introduction. Tony, would you like to go first?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Jefferson. I am the owner and founder of TravelingSession.com. The easiest way to think of the website is a social media website focused on travel. But I hate saying it that way because there's a whole lot more to the site. Where most websites focus on the destination, we want to put the focus on the individual traveler. And we use our proprietary in-house built travel review platform to do so. There's a lot to it. The best thing to do is go and check it out and find the place that works best for you.
All right, thank you, Tony. And you gave us the right pronunciation. Is it Sheri or Sheri?
Sheri Michele.
Sheri.
But let me say, come through Tiara with the serial entrepreneurship. She kept going and going and going. I'm talking about Energize the Bunny over in the corner. Okay. Yes. So I am Sheri Michele. I am CEO of Sudden Success Business Solutions, and my company helps y'all get y'all business lives together. The first thing I want to say is I need all of those Gmails and iClouds to disappear. I need everybody who actually got a company on here to go to zoho.com. That is Zebra October Hollywood October.com and get you a free branded email like today. Like that is your homework for tonight from me. Okay. Let's start there.
Wow. We're gonna have to talk because usually I be coming out like that, but I appreciate you doing that today.
Right. What a way to gather us all together. Thank you. All right, Sheri, let's hear from you.
Yes. So my company. Oh, I'm so sorry. My company helps get your business life together. Like I just said, we help with coaching. We help with getting your staffing together with virtual assistants, and we help you get the exposure for your business so you have the social proof to tell people who you are, where you need to be, and say, Google me.
Thank you, Sheri. Now, Sarah.
I literally cannot compete with that wonderful energy. That was so great. Anyways, I'm Sarah. I'm a digital marketing specialist. I work with small to mid-sized businesses. I call it like soup to nuts when it comes to how I work. Some people are specialists in marketing. I take the entire marketing strategy and implementation and personalize it to each company or individual that I'm working with within like the small to mid-sized business, anything from solopreneur to a business with, a few people that needs marketing help. I find it a lot of fun. Part of me, I'm the digital marketing end of me, but then there's also the entrepreneur end that goes through the day to day, the overwhelm, which is why I try to focus on the step 0, as I call it, which is a lot of people go into market, or they create their business and they do a marketing plan because they saw what they saw on the internet as to what they're supposed to do, but that is a one size fits all kind of situation, and it doesn't take in the individual. So we have very deep conversations before we create the marketing. Or should you be on Instagram? Should you be here? Is this your best platform? I'm going to look at your ROI and your analytics and say, hey, I think that maybe your time, money, and energy is better spent over here, because the goal is if I fall into a hole tomorrow and nobody ever finds me ever again, I don't want any of my clients to feel overwhelmed by the marketing strategy that I've created. I want it to be created so that it's sustainable for them, whether I'm there or not. So that's what I do.
Wow, thank you so much, everyone, for your introductions and starting us off. Now, let's get into these questions. I do want to give you a little bit to say this. We really want to know, for real, like, people are here. Y'all, we got 19 folks here ready to go to hear your story. And so I need you to lay it out, okay? I need about 3 to 5 minutes of you telling me what it was really like, okay? So here's the question. What has been your experience as an entrepreneur? Okay, that's so open. But I really want you all to give us, what has it been like for you? So let's go. How about starting with Sarah, since we'll just go back around that way?
Sounds good. So I will be honest, because this is actually so very quickly, I teach entrepreneurship, marketing, classic communications classes to college students at various colleges. So this is the story that I share because I think it helps, especially at that point. But college students, new business owner, seasoned business owner, same thing. I think it's great to hear stories that aren't necessarily A to B to C. So I actually became an entrepreneur because I became very, very sick before I graduated from college. I was bedridden. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't keep food down. I had lost a lot of weight. So obviously I'm better now. But I actually had thought I was going to go to a 9 to 5 job. I was in the middle of interviewing and everything like that. And I had to throw all of that aside. And it was thankfully through the fact that I had made connections, because obviously a big part of entrepreneurship is networking, unbeknownst to me, because I always try to make connections. It's just a part of who I am. I had made a lot of connections in college. I was able to start getting some one-off projects when I really wasn't like doing the business thing yet. And I was able to start like saving up so that I could pay my student loans that weren't going to wait for me to feel better or not. One thing led to another, one project led to another project, led to a referral. I was able to also learn on the job some skill sets that I didn't learn in college. I went to school for journalism. I was able to learn marketing, search engine optimization, paid advertising on the job with real money, real clients. It wasn't, anything where it wasn't real life. And there wasn't a lot that I was up against. It was a really good crash course because you don't want to mess with people's money. So I was able to build a lot of my skill sets that way. In the beginning, of course, you're saying yes to a lot of projects. I have loved everybody that I have worked with. I do work better with some people better than others, just especially if it's solopreneur. And I'm also, I was a solopreneur as well. So especially if I'm working with people that are in a different time zones, I'm ready for bed and they're still ready to go. So I've kind of learned who my ideal client, how do I work with them over the years. I've also dealt with a lot of, during that time when you're saying yes, 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 I'll take this project on. I don't necessarily know too much about this subject, but let me do the project for you. And then you realize, I don't, I might not be the best person for this. And there might be somebody who is very good at this. But before you get to that stage, you take on a lot of extra work. And I dealt with a very bad burnout in 2018, like severe burnout, needed to talk to a therapist, needed to work on my anxiety and my depression. And it was one of those things where had I paid attention to what was going on, and you get also a crash course in what your absolute upper limit is, that really was the point in my own business where I became very focused on, again, who my ideal client is, who I could send, or who is in my network that if maybe it's not a good fit, they would be a better fit. So I went back to rebuilding my network so it didn't feel so much like it was falling on me. I love what I do, but like anything else, I'm a human and I might contract out here and there, but it is ultimately me and my business. So you need to be able to say yes, but you also need to say no in entrepreneurship. And as a perfectionist, I want to say yes as much as I can, but 2018 was a really hard year for me. And thankfully I pulled through. But I always share like the good and the bad. Like now it's like all referral based and things, I have a better idea of who my clients are. I have a good client roster. If a client, I finish their project, I usually have a wait list and things of that nature, but it wasn't always that way. And there was a lot of feast and famine in the process. So, that's just, entrepreneurship has definitely just been bobbing and weaving and getting to a point and crawling and pulling myself out of some really deep holes, and learning to tap into that network that I tapped into when I started my journey, when I didn't plan on being an entrepreneur and it just kind of happened out of necessity and I made it work. So that's my journey.
Yeah, I think it's really important to let people know the bad as well, because most people go into entrepreneurship just thinking, "Oh, I want to work for myself. I want to be my own boss." But there are always pros and cons to everything that we do. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
All right, Sheri.
Okay, so to best explain my entrepreneur journey, please go to the chat to see what I have just posted. That is an accurate description of the entrepreneur journey.
A lot of emotions. Look, that's what that looks like.
That is the whole roller coaster right there.
Mhm.
So, my current business actually got started in 2015 when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this full time no matter what. And I was still working at a job. And so I humbled myself and was like, we're gonna get this done however we get it done. So I Instacarted for a year and a half to get everything that I needed as far as funding in place to get my business funded. Got $120,000 in funding, right? So that's where we go to the second emoji, that $120,000. Then I bought my first flip thinking I was gonna become a gajillionaire like 2 days later. The flip went wrong. So that's where the next emoji came from. So then it kept going wrong. So I got a little bit upset. So after all was said and done and all the panic moments happened and I kind of observed a little bit, then I started panicking. Then I observed a little bit and then I lost over $100,000 in that house. So that's where all the crime came from. That happened. So at that moment, I had to make a promise to myself that I was not going to quit. And I did. So I went back to the drawing board and I actually went back to work because I had stopped working at that point. I went back to work, but as a contractor, because that is an option to, bootstrap your businesses, become a contractor at some places. It'll give you more freedom. So I became a contractor, kind of put the pieces of my life back together. And then I started doing credit repair. That was where the thinking emojis came. I made a little bit of money, but I figured out that people are hard headed and I didn't want to deal with that. So I went back to the drawing board. And then I had hired my first and second virtual assistant to kind of get some things off of my plate because I was working sun up to sundown. I was so overwhelmed and overworked, and my to-do list was getting longer and longer. And I went to a conference in it was like a 3-day conference weekend, the really good ones where you don't sleep but like 2 hours in 4 days. and you have a blast, and there's parties and after parties and coaching and everything. So I went to one of those, and as I was networking, because as y'all can imagine, just from the energy I'm giving y'all, I be everywhere at those events. Like by the fourth day, people thought I was a presenter because people was coming up hugging me and all kind of stuff. So and I was talking to my assistants on my phone through a walkie-talkie app, and everybody was like, who are you talking to? And I was getting like, if we were talking about a trip or doing an event together, I'd be like, okay, well, let's look up some dates. Hey, can you check these dates for a hotel? Da, da, da. And then 5 minutes later, an answer would come through, and they'd be like, who are you talking to? So I was like, my assistants. I could use one of those. So after hearing that like 47 times in one weekend, I was like, let me do something about this because people need this. So then I opened my virtual staffing agency, and then we got that together, and it's been amazing. Now I'm helping entrepreneurs stop being so frustrated with their business, stop being so resentful, and being able to actually work on their business instead of in it. Because there's a difference, a huge one. So I want to be able to let people make the money that they want to make and scale their companies that they want to, the way they want to scale them so that they can sell them or make them their retirement plans or travel and just be nomads. Like every country now offering a nomad visa. So let's go take advantage of that and make hundreds of thousands of dollars all over the world while somebody else do our work. And that's my journey.
Love it. Oh goodness. I probably would have been like, who you talking to if you was on a walkie-talkie getting some feedback that fast. Let me get one of those, please, ASAP.
Girl, www.helpmefindava.com. Right there.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Tony, let's hear it.
Hello. So my journey started out, I did 21 years in the military, in the U.S. Air Force, doing IT. But most of my time I spent overseas, like 8 years in Japan, 3 years in Germany, a year in Korea. So I knew whenever I was done with the Air Force, I wanted to combine my IT background and my new love for travel. And so that's basically how I came up with the idea. For me, it was a little bit easier because I had my military retirement coming in for part of my funding. So I had a lot of flexibility, but at the same time, I was not ready when I first took that first step and decided that this is what I wanted to do full time. So when I retired, I took that first year and I worked for a company that didn't work out. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to do this full time. Right after that, the pandemic hit. So now I'm trying to build this travel website and no one can travel. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, we didn't know when we were going to be able to travel again. We didn't know if we were going to be able to travel again. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, you got to make a choice. You're either going to keep it up or you're going to quit. So I decided to stick with it. And having an IT background, I thought a lot of things I thought would have been easier than they were. But no, one thing about being starting your own business, you really find out at what you suck at.
That's great perspective.
And I mean, that's not a bad thing. Find out what you suck at early and then find somebody who doesn't suck at it. So it was a lot of, and then the other thing was for me, what I was doing there wasn't anything like it. So I didn't really have any examples or any guidelines or somebody I could copy. So it was a lot of just banging my head against the wall, trying this, a lot of trial and error. And you have to really be passionate about what it is you're going after, because if I wasn't really passionate about this project, I would have quit. Oh, those 24-hour days trying to find one error in a line of code, and all these things that come out of left field that you know nothing about, but now you got to be an expert about it. Uh, like, what do I know about the privacy rights about people in Great Britain? Well, if I want to show advertisements on my websites in Great Britain, guess what? I got to know about that stuff now. And so you got to be, the biggest thing I think is you got to be willing to learn constantly. But eventually I found my flow, and I think that's where, like, when you start, like, you have a vision of it, but the vision's not clear. And like, as you progress and as you hit these little bumps, the vision starts to get clear. And once that vision gets clear, like, those bumps don't knock you off kilter anymore. It's like, oh, bump. Oh, well, I can do it. It's once that vision gets clear and you start to lock in on it, all the rest of that stuff just, so you just got to be willing to put your head down and just keep at it. That's the gist of my story.
Thank you, Tony. I think the fact that you said you have to be willing to learn, be open minded to that. I feel like that resonated a lot with me because, when for me, when I felt like I wanted to start my own business, like, well, I know this, of course, I know everything in and out, accounting, bookkeeping, all of that. But then there are going to be hiccups. Like you said, there are going to be bumps and things like that, but you have to be open to learning. And
failing. And
yeah.
failing. Like, if you can't bump your head against the wall 14 times in a row and be okay with it, this might not be for you.
But yeah, they say that failing and mistakes are the best lessons in life. That's the best way for you to learn when you have those failures. But let's segue that into our next question, which is, how has entrepreneurship affected you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? And we're just going to go back in the same order. So, Sarah, go ahead and start us.
All right, perfect. So for me, entrepreneurship has, I would say, all around been such a great experience. If you could connect like physically, emotionally. Again, I had my, good times and bad times, but overall, it's really been a blessing for a multitude of reasons. I'm able to, again, like, be anywhere and to feed my soul and to, become a better person, to be a more, if you saw like a scurry over there, that was my cat. At least one of them. My other one is in the window. I have two, don't worry. I'm not completely crazy cat lady. Has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. But maybe it does because they're my employees. They're my employees of the month every month because they work with me in my office. So, anyways, going back to that, I'm able to expand my horizons. This could be in connection with you, Tony, with exploring different places in the world while I am working and not being location dependent. I have also a sick parent, so it allows me the time that if I was in office, I wouldn't just be able to, if they're like, I'm not feeling well today, I can't just throw my laptop, and drive down right away. But it's given me a lot of time over the years that has really fed into, just me as a person. It's allowed me to be more compassionate. Not that I wasn't beforehand, but again, it just, with not having a time crunch of like, well, I only can help you out, after 5 p.m. or I have to take off of work or anything like that. It's just allowed me to be such a well-rounded individual. I don't have to be told that I can't go for an afternoon walk, which I guess, is also good. When I need a little break, I can just take a little break. I can set my own hours. If my partner, if he is, off on a Monday, I can block off a Monday so that we can spend the time together. So it's just fed into a lot of different good pieces of my life amongst, the stories in which I've shared, or, Sheri or Tony have shared, where, it is difficult. But I would say that the positives and the benefits of being an entrepreneur have absolutely outweighed, the months where, beans and rice was it, if that, or, you're tired and you're worn out and you're like, I don't know if I could continue to do this, because, time, experiences, connections with those I love are super important. And entrepreneurship has checked all of those boxes. And I'm grateful for all of that time. So that's my thoughts on how it's fed into me in lots of different ways. So
Thank you, Sarah. Time is very important. I think that's why a lot of us make the decision to be an entrepreneur. Thank you for sharing. All right, Sheri.
So there's no way that you can be a successful entrepreneur without it affecting you in all those different areas. But the difference, I think a lot of people think that it's going to be fluid, and it's the same that it does to you as far as how your business goes up and down. It's the same for you as your spirituality, your physical. Like there'll be some times where you get to eat real good, and then there's some ramen noodle months. Okay. There's some months where you're gonna be like, oh, everybody loving me right now, and then you're gonna be like, sir, are y'all up there? Like, did you forget about me? Did y'all lose my number? Like, so I think the biggest part of entrepreneurship that I think that as we get more successful, the things that we value change. And that's the one thing, and I mean, as far as our personal self, because, and you guys can agree with me, when you start entrepreneurship, the money is the important part. That's the important part. But as you grow, it becomes the time, it becomes the freedom, it becomes the not punching into a clock, being able to go to your kids' recitals. Sarah, my mom had surgery, and I'm so glad you said that. My mom had open heart surgery in September, and I was able to sit at her house for 9 months. She got better like 2 weeks ago to where she can be independently living again. And because I'm an entrepreneur, I was able to be there for her every day of that journey. And so that, hands down, the best thing. And did I suffer personally, physically, mentally? Absolutely. Being a caregiver, if you have any friends that are caregivers, please check on them. People always check on the people who are actually ill, but they never check on the people who have to deal with their funky attitudes behind the illness. Okay. So the freedom to be there for your friends, family, your time, that's the important part. And then mentally, you can't do this without being mentally solid. So the more you get into this game, the more you're going to be into your fitness journey. The more you're going to be like, I don't go to the gym because I want to be smaller or because I want to be more toned. I go to the gym because, man, get me on the treadmill for 35 minutes and stuff just start flowing out of me. Okay. I get back from that and I be on my computer and I be like Dexter's Laboratory in here. Like it's clarity and it's things of that neighbors. You know what I'm talking about, Sarah. So you start looking at things in different ways, and the people are amazing in entrepreneurship. Like the entrepreneurs that I meet on a daily basis, it's insane the amount of people that I get to know and the great personalities that I get to be around every day. And I'll be like, you're my friend. Not to mention having that strong circle. You can't have friends talking about I'm going to Dubai to do a speaking engagement and I have a new website dropping and I'm on a magazine article and you're like, okay, well, I'm clocking in today. Like, that don't work. So you gotta get that strong friend circle that's doing the damn thing so that you can do it. That your top five, that T-Mobile top five, fill that with people who doing stuff and see what happens in 6 months. So that's how entrepreneur looks for me, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I'm enjoying the hell out of myself with it. And I have never been a better person than before I was able to do the what I want to do. And I can't wait to see who I am in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years. So yeah, entrepreneurs is the ish. And that's it.
Listen, Sheri, I wish I could hop on a treadmill and start thinking, get my creative juices flowing, because I don't be thinking about that on the treadmill. I'm like, have I not reached this mile yet?
Girl, you better put you on some trap music and yo.
Yeah, I gotta get distracted. I gotta get deep into my mind when I'm on the treadmill. Thank you for sharing. Tony, let's hear from you.
Uh, for me, I think I love being an entrepreneur because I realized early on that I don't really care about money. The thing I care about is my time.
Okay.
And having my time is the most important thing in the world to me. I can get up in the morning. I don't have to set my alarm. I go to the gym whenever I feel like. I get back and I just go to work. I don't have to stop because somebody wants to have a meeting about something stupid. I don't have to stop because, okay, we're shutting down for the night and you got to go home, or you've already hit your hours, you can't hit your overtime. I can, when I'm on a roll, I can just keep flowing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing for me, I think this has been like really an introspective journey because you really learn a lot about yourself. Uh, One thing that I like to harp on is to be uh, to be a small business owner, especially an entrepreneur. It takes a little bit of arrogance. Actually, no, it takes a lot of arrogance. And I always get kickback when I say that because people want to say, "Oh, you mean confidence?" Well, the difference between confidence and arrogance is confidence is born out of experience. When you're starting a business, unless you're a serial entrepreneur, this is all new to you. But when you're talking to potential customers or clients and you're telling them whatever you're telling them, they got to believe it. So you got to believe it. So sometimes you just gonna have to say it. You just have to lean into that. Hey, I am it. But at the same time, you still have to be humble enough to know when you're getting in good information, because because your vision is your vision. No one else is going to see your vision the way that you see it. And if you start like people are going to not try to knock you off your vision because they don't see your vision the way you do. They're like, oh no, you should do it this way. No, that's not. Or if you want investors, hey, we need to make money now instead of where. So you have to have that arrogance to be able to say, I'm not listening to y'all. But at the same time, when someone's giving you good information, know how to take that in.
Mm-hmm. That's good, Tony. I like the arrogance part. Because you is I feel like you definitely have to let people know that you know what you're talking about. That's for sure. All right. So since we're almost at 7 here, I would like for you everyone to give their best tip that they could give out for any entrepreneur, and then also let us know what is the best way to contact you or to schedule you or book you. Sarah.
I would say my tip for anybody, I've said it a few times already, is to make those connections. They don't, those connections can be three ways: where you want to be, people that are, going through the same thing as you, and somebody that you can pull up as well. Because that's super important to me. I don't necessarily just the reason I'm going up is so that I can pull people up from me. my, the interns, the college students I speak to. But yeah, you need those people that you want to strive towards, the people that you're going through it together and you can help each other out and you get each other, and then the people that are looking to be in your position next. So make those connections on all of those different levels and don't stop making those connections. So, one of those things. That would be my tip. I'm so passionate that my cat ran away again. And then for people that want to book me, my website is SAR DeGeorge, DeGeorge. So S as in Sarah, A as in Arnold, R as in Rebecca, and then D as in dog, E as in Edward, and then the name George. That's why I was spelling it all out until George, because George is easy.com. And that's how you can book me. You can learn more about me. You can see other things that I've done, or you can just be my friend. That's fine too.
Perfect. Thank you. And Erica also put that in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you, Erica.
All right, Sheri, let's hear it.
Me and Sarah have got to be sisters from another mother, because I am the same way about the friend. You heard me about the friends, okay? You okay. So my tip is learn to delegate. Learn to delegate and be able to delegate and duplicate yourself as quickly as possible. And by delegation, I mean, if you ain't got to do it, if you can say somebody else can do it, let somebody else do it. Am the laziest entrepreneur, and I want to find more ways to be lazy and make $1 million so I can pay other people. And here's why. Number one, I need to focus on my business and growing that vision that Tony was talking about. I can't do that if I'm worried about accounting and if product showed up and all of that stuff. So learn to delegate. Laundry, don't do it. Meal prep, don't do it. Cleaning my house, I do not do it. If you do not have to do it and you got the money to not do it, don't do it. Okay? And for all of those, and I know I'm talking to the ladies when I say this, because you guys are the ones that hold your business tight, like it's your baby. I know all of y'all are thinking, well, what if they can't do it like me? What if they mess it up? Let them. Let them. But you ain't doing it. Because what if they can do it better than you? None of y'all done asked yourself that question. They can do it better. My team is amazing in ways I can't even fathom being amazing. You need those people. Case in point, and I'm going to put him out here, Donald Trump. He's an idiot surrounded by a bunch of smart people. And he became president of the free world, being an idiot surrounded by smart people.
Well, Sheri, what a statement
you can
that
find me. An arrogant one, like Tony said, because man, he be so busy talking about himself, he ain't got room for nobody else. So, you can find me on Google, and it is Sheri Michele, like it's spelled by my name. And you can find me on all platforms that way. So my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my everything is right there. Other podcasts and appearances, speaking engagements I've been on. So you can just check me out. And if you're looking for a virtual assistant, you can go to www.helpmefindava.com. We're doing coaching and everything else. So I would love to connect with every single last one of y'all.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Tony?
My biggest piece of advice would be to pick, if you're going to start a business, start something that you are passionate about. A lot of people want to start a business because they see people making money in it. That's not a reason to start a business, because when it starts whooping you upside the head, if you ain't passionate about it, you will quit. If you want to contact us, the easiest way to contact me is on our website, travelandsession.com/contact us. we've got a form there, and then we've got links to all our social media. However you want to reach out to us, where we get to.
Thank you so much, Tony. And I would give a tip as well. And that's kind of going to piggyback off what Sheri says. Listen, if you need help in your business, get the help that you need. And my shameless plug is that everybody can do the bookkeeping and cannot do the accounting. So if you would like some bookkeeping services, my schedule link is in the chat, and I am here to help you take your mind off the financial portions of your business so you can focus only on operations. So, book a free 30-minute consultation with T. Briscoe Consulting, and we'll get you pointing in the right direction. But yes, please do not be afraid to reach out for help. There are people out there that are willing to help you so you can actually get your business flowing and going and operating. And yes, Erica is in the chat, and we're going to let her put her contact information there. But thank you so much to all the panelists here today. I really do appreciate Erica, and I appreciate you taking time out today to come and speak to all of the entrepreneurs. You have provided some valuable information that I'm sure we're all going to take with us. And thank you so much.
I was going to say,
there's a question.
Grant has a
There's
question.
a question.
Yeah.
Let's see, but before we break off, greatest failures. So the greatest failures or setbacks on becoming an entrepreneur, and how did you use that to fuel you?
I'm happy to stay a few more minutes. So, like this.
I can do that one.
We can only list one.
I can do that
I was
one
gonna
easy.
say.
I was messing around one night, and I don't know what I did, but I clicked save on the code, broke my whole website. I mean, broke everything. I just looked at it. I quit for like 48 hours. I didn't touch it. I was done. I just walked away. It was like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. But I mean, I think at that point, I'd probably been working on that code for like 24 hours straight. And at that point, you're losing sleep and you're not focusing right. So the biggest take back I got from that was, it ain't all got to be done in one day.
Okay.
Take your time.
Thank you, Tony. And did Sheri or Sarah?
The biggest setback was that $120,000 loss. That hurt. Yeah. I was in the fetal position in the bathroom, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. It took me a minute to get up from that one.
Yeah.
It took a good little minute. But what I had, so this business is not my first, second, third, or fourth business. And so even though I had the biggest failure ever, it taught me two things. Number one, I'm in this. So I'm either, even the yo-yo hopping in and out that I was doing, it was pointless for me to continue to do that because I knew in my heart and my soul I was an entrepreneur. So I learned to stay in the game no matter what. And I've kept true to that since. And the second thing I learned was that this game is expensive. And I've just been okay with spending the money to do what I needed to do to get it done. And if I lost money, the lost money was a lesson, and I knew, and I was able to get my business to do better because of that loss.
Hey, losing money, that is a nice little lesson.
Yeah, you got to factor in those costs.
Listen.
Listen, I can see you.
Hire a developer. Like if you're going to hire a developer, and you're going to pay about 3 or 4 of them before you find that right one.
And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You got to be okay with the trial and error.
All right, Sarah.
I think it's funny because we all touched on it, but not necessarily that it was our biggest failure, but it was kind of like a catalyst for something else. But I will say that at the time, my 2018 breakdown felt like like I completely failed myself. It was the dollars and cents of all of the clients that I had to basically hand off to other people because of how far into this pit I had gotten. Like I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I was basically almost in a psychosis where I was not in touch with reality. Like it was a bad time, and I'm happy to share it. Not like I'm happy to share it, but I'm very, mental health is. I'm happy that we're more open about mental health. But it was just because I wasn't taking care of myself beforehand because I was so, again, focused on yes, 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 yes. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me answer this email at 11 p.m. And then going back to what we just talked about, why am I answering this email at 11 p.m.? Like, it's my business. Like, I had fallen almost out of the entrepreneur role and into this weird, like, almost employee. I'm not an employee. If it's your business, you are working alongside people. They are hiring you for your expertise. You are not their employee. They can get in a lot of trouble if they make you act as an employee when you're a contractor, things of that nature. But anyways, I had fallen into that mindset because I was tired and I was burnt out, and I kind of didn't have the mental capacity to like stand up for myself. And then of course I fall into this depression. I have to let my clients be taken over by people in my network, some of my closest colleagues, because like I can't even focus on myself. How am I supposed to take on somebody's Google Ads campaign? And I used every last bit of energy, even in the throes of it, to be able to. And actually, nobody knew how bad I was because I was trying to mask it as much as I possibly could until a point where I'm like, I am not well. I need to sleep. I need to take care of myself. I need to be completely void of any sort of tasks that require anything. I need to heal. And I was able to focus on my mental health. I was getting my physical health back in order, and it was a long process, but it gave, again, now I focus so much on creating sustainable and authentic marketing strategies for people. So it actually ended up becoming my biggest selling point because I'm not just here to do digital marketing for people. I'm here to create strategy that makes sense for them, not what BuzzFeed tells you need to be doing, because again, it doesn't take into account that you have a kid at home or you're taking care of a sick parent or all of the other things that maybe don't mean that you can operate your marketing in the way that Joe Schmo does, or whoever else does. So anyways, it was, in my eyes, a failure, but it actually was the springboard that eliminated all of the extra nonsense from what I was doing and allowed me to kind of free myself of some stuff that just began to just tack on to me from doing too much.
Yes, that's very vulnerable story to share, but we do appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah. And just to plug Erica too, y'all. So she has Your Goal Concierge, and she considers herself to be the leader's leader. So if you're ever feeling like you're in this emotional point or this emotional state, Erica will be there to help get you out of that. She helps the leaders overcome their emotional states that they're in. So please feel free to reach out to Erica as well. But Grant, thank you. I hope we were, excuse me, able to answer your question. Panelists, we thank you for giving us your time and even staying over a little bit today. And we are going to wrap it up. Thank you.